for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. On the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing.
Hit the like button, y'all. Please punch the like button. Notifications haven't been going out. Hit that like button.
On the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to TDPHINSTALK, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. I hope everybody's having a great day. This is Defeat, or should I say Therapy Monday? Yes, this is Therapy Monday, y'all. We're going to try to give like a really good hour and a half show before we got Monday Night Football, which you know I'll be streaming that as well for all you football heads and football junkies who love watching football. Come hang out with me at 8:15 or something like that. I don't know when the game is. I think it's like 8 o'clock. 8:15. Come hang out with me at 8:15. I'm gonna be doing a live play-by-play of the game. Chargers and Broncos. Good game, because these are teams that we're gonna have to fight off in order to get in the playoffs, because we all have close records. So it's gonna be a good game tonight. I'm looking forward to it. But ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all for tuning in. This special show is brought to you by none other than Mojo Sports. Y'all already know what time it is. Mojo Sports, our official sponsor of breaking news and show segments. So make sure, if you're in Jersey, go sign up for Mojo Sports. We're going to get into that in just a second. We're going to go over stock up, stock down, and then we're going to go over why we don't need to worry, because we will win the next 3 games in a row, ladies and gentlemen. And I mean that. I'm not, bringing a troll title X, Y, and Z. We're going to win the next 3 games in a row. I mean, it's almost a guarantee, even though ain't nothing guaranteed with this team, Lord. But we should definitely win the next 3 games in a row. I honestly have so little of concern about the next 3 games, and we'll talk about that, like I said, and more. But before we do, like I said, we want to get into Mojo Sports, our official sponsor of the show. Before we get started with the content of the show, first and foremost, Tua Tagovailoa is back, ladies and gentlemen. Will he play this week? There is a 95% chance that he will play this week because Mike McDaniel himself still has to clear Tua to play this week, which I'm confident he will. He'll feel like he sees enough in practice and everything, and Tua will be the starting quarterback, backed up by Teddy Bridgewater, and look for Skylar Thompson to be put right back on that shelf where he belongs as they continue to develop him. But it's very interesting. Last week, Tua was hovering around $29 a share, and now that stock, without even playing, has been going up. He's up $3.50 at about 12% rise in stock. That's whenever you're missing your guy. A lot of people, man, if we had Tua, we would have won. We had Tua, we would have won. That's why his stock was rising. Now, I'm still looking for Tua to be the guy that gets up in that quarterback range. Let me give y'all an example. Let me put a guy like Justin Herbert. Let me put a guy like Herbert in. I need Tua to get. See, I don't even need Tua to get up to the 98. I need him to get up in those 60s. I need him to get somewhere like the where is Hurt? You know what? Let's go Hurts. Let's go Jalen Hurts. Let me see. Jalen Hurts, 49. You see what I mean? At least let's get over $40. Bring that value up. Bring that value up quite a bit. Jalen Hurts has been as high as $50.20. But his value in this league, Tua's value it struggles to rise for the simple fact he's not available enough. Anytime he has a good stretch, it goes up, but then he gets hurt and it goes down. So we're going to need to put some consistency on the field and consistency in availability with Tua Tagovailoa, all right? So his stock is definitely on the rise. And last but not least, we got to talk about Skylar Thompson real quick. Man, this kid's stock blew up, okay? Some people will look at it. What do you mean blow up? It's $1.98. We're in the stock market. This is the market now. Because he's coming from $1.44 all the way up to $1.98. That is a 37% increase. That is a 37% increase on your money. You could only beg to get those type of returns in the market. So Skylar Thompson, over the last week, his stock, the last week, his stock has risen 37%. Now, I'm telling you, if this kid gets an opportunity in this league, he's going to skyrocket up there, man. I'm telling you now, if I was in Jersey, I would bet on Skylar Thompson for the long term. It's like a 2-year expectation. I will put tons of money on him, and if he gets an opportunity to start in this league and goes up in the $30 range, man, that's a 1,600. That's like 16 times your money, just to get to about 30, 32, 34 bucks. So Skylar Thompson's stock is definitely up. That's what we got for you right now, ladies and gentlemen. But let me say this. I hope Mojo Sports gets in other states sooner rather than later, because I just can't get over this idea of a player's market, because it's very interesting. You can see who's rising and who's falling. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are in the New Jersey area, to take advantage of Mojo Sports, go ahead and sign up. You have an opportunity that many of us don't. So once again, take advantage of Mojo Sports, ladies and gentlemen, our official sponsor of the show. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hit that like button. Punch that like button. Where are y'all at? Where are y'all at? Come on now. Let's at least get 100 likes, because we got to talk. Let's get 100 likes, because we got to talk. Man, Monday, man. It was all good about a week ago. That's what they said. That's what they said. It was all good about a week ago. What happened in 1 week to have us in this position, man? Gosh, it's tough love, ain't it? Ain't it, ladies and gentlemen? Just tough love out here being a Dolphins fan. But you know what? We're going to be all right. This is not last year. All of these Dolphin fans that are sitting here talking about, oh, same old team. I'm done with this team. Calm down. This is not the same team as last year. Okay. We have a lot more talent on this roster. And as long as they stay healthy, we'll be just fine. Okay. We will be just fine. So we're about to get started. I'm going to tell y'all why we're going to be just fine. I'm going to read a few comments while people come in the room and y'all hit the like button. Much respect, TD, but you ain't winning 3 straight. Hey, listen, that's your opinion. You don't believe we're winning 3 straight. I'm going to tell you why we are. All right. Facts, this team is different. It is. What did TD say that you guys keep reminding him that Tua is younger than Skyler? What did TD say that you guys keep reminding him? I don't know why they keep trying to remind me of that. Dolphins fan really thought they would win the division after a fluky win in week 3. Hey, we still got a chance to win a division. We only got 1 division loss. Why we can't win a division? Why we can't win a division? All we got to do is win our games like we should and beat Buffalo one more time, and we win the division. It's that simple. I mean, truth be told, we're in the driver's seat of winning the division. We already got one over the Patriots in the Buffalo, and I know Buffalo gonna sweep the Jets, so that's gonna knock them out. We're in the driver's seat. It's that simple. All we got to do is beat Buffalo one more time. Well, Buffalo gonna have to lose another game too, but it is what it is. All right, TD Fins, what do you think about Tua's confidence in taking a hit? That's a great question. I have no idea until we see it on game day. That's the only issue with this situation. See, what people need to realize is Tua is not going to forget what he felt when his body was stiff. See, there is a distinct feeling when he saw that man come and see the problem is it wasn't a blind side. Sometimes blind side situations are better. But he saw the guy coming. He felt the guy hit him, and he felt the impact to the ground. And whatever caused his body to go in that state, he felt all of that. And he was out. And it was a feeling that he couldn't control because his body couldn't even control it. That's why he was stiff. And that causes trauma, not just physically, but mentally. So I have no idea how Tua's going to handle pressure coming towards him. The one thing I'll tell you about Tua Tagovailoa, it is beyond rare. Like we see it on the rarest of occasions. It is rare for him to stand in the pocket and throw the ball taking a hit. You know those throws that Tannehill always made? I know I'm about to get whacked, but this play can be made. No guts, no glory. Swoop. We know for a fact that it is the rarest thing ever to see him do that. He rarely ever does it. Tua does not like to take those direct, straight-on hits. He'll hurry up and throw the ball and try to brace himself. And what's funny is the one time where he had got like his back injured or something like that versus Buffalo this year, remember when he got a little bit banged up? That was a rare case where he stood in there and made the throw and took the hit. Because I remember saying it on my stream, whoa, he hurt, but I'll say this, he stood in there and made the throw. It's so rare because we've seen him like not want to take the hit. But after what just happened, we don't know. We don't know what we're going to get on game day. He could be in practice. Oh, Tua looks just fine. Oh, he looks great, because he knows in practice not a soul is going to touch him. But when you get in that game, when those guys, Eichenberg gets beat, Little or whoever gets beat, and they coming straight towards him, you don't know what you're going to get. It can affect your throw. It can affect your timing. It can affect your processing speed. It can affect many things. We're about to find out what type of effect that it had on Tua. We're about to find that out. We have no idea. The kid may come out here and can care less, ripping them apart and, hey, taking hits, getting up. Hey, it ain't nothing. We have no idea. I'm hopeful that, he comes and he, is not concerned, but he already has a history of not wanting that type of contact. Guys coming straight at him. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. Because let me also introduce this element. How do I want to say this? Like this. So, when is Tua ever going to get it right? When is Tua ever going to get it right? What do you mean by that, TD? These injuries that he continues to sustain, whose fault are they? Whose fault are they? I mean, we got to be honest. Whose fault are they? His concussion. Whose fault is it? It's his. Holding on to the ball too long. It's not the O-line. His concussion, the O-line held up for like 6 seconds. Like, he's never had more time and nobody around him like this in his entire career on that concussion play. Go back and look at the replay. Tua's back to pass, and not a single soul, not even his O-line, is within 8 feet of him. Nobody's even near. And he sits back there and holds the ball for like 5-6 seconds. And then finally a guy gets loose and coming towards him, and he sees him, and he starts to back out to try to get away and extend the play, and he gets concussed. It's not the O-line's fault on that play. I mean, you can't expect for them to hold up for 10 seconds. It's his fault. It was his fault for his hip injury, holding on to the ball too long. Nick Saban told us this. Tua's one of his biggest flaws is never wanting to give up a play and holding on to the ball too long. Nick Saban said it. So that's what I mean by, when will Tua ever learn? So when will he ever learn, y'all? When will he ever learn? Get rid of the freaking ball. Because let me tell you why he has this bad habit. Tua has this bad habit because when he holds on to the ball too long, he actually, this is the kicker, y'all. And tell me if I'm wrong. This is the kicker. When he holds on to the ball too long, shockingly, he actually has a high percent of completion when he does. Get rid of the ball. He fits it in on a check down, even if it's 2 or 3 yards. Hey, it's a completion. All right. But come on, man. Don't be taking them chances. But he actually has a high percentage when he holds on to the ball. He actually completes the ball at a high clip when he holds on to the ball. And that's where, remember last year I used to say, Tua don't know how to throw the ball away. Like, I see this kid throw the ball away once every 3 games. Like, the traditional quarterback hike, nothing there. They floating it out of bounds. You see that in every NFL game. With Tua, it's like a rarity to see a throwaway. He wants to make something happen on every play. But when is he going to learn? Because the problem is he actually makes the plays a lot. So it encourages you to hold on to the ball. Because another problem is if he does learn to get rid of it after a certain amount of time, like most quarterbacks do, his completion percentage will drop because all of those plays that he usually makes, he won't be making them anymore because he's taking a safe path. His numbers might even go down because some of those plays are actually good plays. So it's almost a catch-22. The difference is Tua either needs to learn how to throw the ball away, which is going to hurt his numbers, or he needs to study Patrick Mahomes, who also holds on to the ball too long, but he knows exactly the perfect timing when to let it go. When nothing's there, okay, I'll concede. He knows the perfect time. Remember that hip injury by Tua in Alabama? Patrick Mahomes does that play 3 times a game, running towards the sideline, looking for somebody. The difference is Patrick Mahomes, if nothing there, will float it out of bounds 1 second before Tua did in that Alabama game. So he has a decision to make. Will you learn and become the general quarterback and give up those throws? First progression, second progression, third progression, nothing's there. Instead of just automatically trying to escape, get rid of the ball. But Tua's the type of guy first. And then he may try to escape or get out and keep looking. It's going to get you hurt, even though you make plays off of it sometimes. But we're saying that's what he needs to do. But is he going to learn? Is he going to learn? I don't know. Which one would y'all rather? Him keep doing what he's doing or throw the ball away 4 or 5 times a game? The problem is we be needing those 4 or 5 times that he holds on to it. We be needing those 3 completions he gets out of it. We be needing them. Drop my clip. We be needing those plays. Because if he starts throwing it away, we don't get those. Whew, hey, that's the first down. We don't get all of those. It's a catch-22. It's a catch-22. So that's the answer to the question of the gentleman who asked that, okay? But let's get to the subject at hand. The next 3 games, we're going to win all 3. First of all, Armstead should be healthy to return, hopefully by then, right? I mean, then we're getting all this great news on Austin Jackson should be ready to return because him and Armstead were really close to playing. So both of them should be back. And that's perfect timing for Tua because he's going to need both of them. He's definitely going to need both of them. We do not want to see a Tua Tagovailoa with the offensive line that Teddy and Skyler had to deal with. That's the last thing we want to see. That'll ruin his reputation and his legend. So they'll be coming back in a perfect time to help out with the protection. Okay. Waddle at this point, I believe, is going to be on a mission. Look for this kid to go off for the rest of the year. Because even though he's not the reason we lost, he was a part of the reason. And that doesn't sit right with him. Now he's going to be looking to play even extra hard, make the most out of everything, and just absolutely ball out. And get back to being seen in good graces, even though he ain't lose any good graces. Because a lot of people love Waddle, and we all understand mistakes do happen. It ain't like you out here doing it, 2 years in a row now. We know you're a baller, and you had a bad game where 2 costly mistakes really hurt us. but nobody's tripping over Waddle like that. But he's going to be extra motivated to come ball out. Tyreek picking up where he left off. And I think the offense is going to pick it up going forward. And ladies and gentlemen, let's just sit here and be honest. We got 3 teams in front of us that we're way more talented than. Pittsburgh has a great defense, okay? Yes, they have a great defense. They always mix it up, and they're going to have a good defense. But listen, their offense, it ain't even close compared to our defense. Our offense should do more against their defense than their offense against ours, and that's why we're going to win. And the 2 games after that, we're not even worried about. The 2 games after that, we are not even worried about. Easy. Plus, you got Tua back, right? He's the guy. All we do is win with him. So we're going to win. We're going to win. So we'll be just fine. And then nobody's talking about our secret weapon. Nobody's talking about our 2 secret weapons. Our first secret weapon is Noah Igbenogany, baby. The kid has arrived. Look at Noah trying to climb the charts. You go, Noah. Our first secret weapon is Noah Igbenogany. And it's going to be him and X because we are depleted. And then our second secret weapon was just cleared by the NFL to return, baby. Steven Ross is on the way, baby. You know he finna finagle something to get some talent up in here. No, but in all seriousness, all jokes aside, we're going to win these next 3 games. We'll be 6-3. Everybody will go crazy and say it's because of Tua, as always, right? And we'll play good football as a team because we have to. Because we have to, ladies and gentlemen. Because I personally believe if we lose any one of these 3 games, we will not make the playoffs. If we lose any one of these 3 games, we will not make the playoffs. It won't happen. So at the end of the day, Mike McDaniel, you're going to be looked at heavily in these 3 games. And let's be honest, Mike McDaniel's on the clock, y'all. What do you mean he's on the clock? It's not the same as the hot seat, but he's on the clock. He's on the clock. You have a certain amount of time to get this right. It's that simple. Because once again, and EM said this, and he was right, man. We got to give it up to EM. Judging Mike McDaniel is not about the 3 wins at the beginning of the season. That's for casual people who analyze the game. Mike McDaniel is a genius. Look, we're 3-0. That's Mike McDaniel is a genius. Hold on, that Patriots game, I ain't seen nothing special. We put up more points with Flores than that offense. Baltimore game, we didn't do absolutely squat until the 4th quarter. That ain't what geniuses do. You don't live off of 1 quarter. Congratulations, great quarter. We came back. Buffalo game, I love the coaching game plan in that game. Offense still wasn't potent, but I love the overall presentation of the game. But it's not about when you're winning that makes a great coach. It's when you're losing and you galvanize the troops. It's when you're losing and you literally get your team out of the dirt. It's about adversity. When things aren't going well, you still find a way. And I'm going to tell y'all now, Bengals game, adversity. Okay. We lost. It is what it is. Then the Jets game, we lost. And it is what it is. But I'm sorry. Mike McDaniel was charged for that Minnesota game. This is the game. Your team just came and looked like trash versus the Jets. 13 penalties. That's a coaching stat. Drop balls, just no discipline on the roster up and down. You did not have your team ready to play. And you did that, and we look for you to come back and bounce back and put a great presentation on the field. And I'm sorry, but yesterday was not that. And that is on Mike McDaniel. So right now, when we go through adversity, Mike McDaniel is failing. He is failing the adversity test. He ain't got that Bill Belichick in him. Yeah, I get it. Somebody said fire McDaniel. Now y'all just being extra now. That ain't what we're talking about. That's not what we're talking about. What we're saying is we're starting to see a few signs of not so great coaching. Fake punts in bad territory, man. You do that on the 40-yard line. You do that in a position where you're still good. You don't do that back in your own territory. Especially when your team ain't playing disciplined football with all the penalties. It's just not wise. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, we got to stop giving people credit because of the talent that they have. Mike McDaniel didn't beat New England. The talent on his roster did because Flores beat him too. That Baltimore game, blown coverage, and you got Tyreek Hill shooting past it. It's not Mike McDaniel. Now, I give him credit in the Buffalo game because I like the game plan overall. I definitely gave him credit from that Buffalo game. Regardless of them not having a secondary, the game plan was still sound. But I'm sorry, the Cincinnati game, you didn't have your team prepared when it came to next man up. The Jets game, you didn't have your team prepared when it came to next man up. And I'm sorry, but the Minnesota game, you had your team prepared for next man up, but your team was undisciplined. They were undisciplined. I'm telling y'all, the first quarter penalties alone, you erase those, we won the game. That simple. You erase those, you win the game. That simple. That's some of the best quarterback play you can get. So I'm sorry. Mike McDaniel is on the clock. They're taking a good look at everything he does because I've been trying to tell y'all this even at the beginning of the season. People get mad at me because they fall in love with every new thing that Miami buys and they think that it's the answer. But truth be told, Mike McDaniel wasn't even our fourth option. Based off of my ledger, he was our fifth option. And on top of that, when you admittedly, openly, out in public, offered a man a 5-year, $100 million contract, do y'all realize Gruden was the one who got offered the most money? 10 years, $100 million? And we offered 5 years, $100 million to Sean Payton. That told you, Stephen Ross, mentally, I want a Super Bowl. I want the best of the best. Sean, 5 years, $100 million. You can't turn it down. That was the target. The Flores thing ruined that. So let's get something straight. Don't think that is still not the target. Because you're out here drooling because we went 3-0 to start the season. Stop acting like it still may not be the target. I've been very clear at the beginning of the season. Mike McDaniel is doing nothing but trying to prove why he belongs as a head coach, and he's going to have to do something spectacular for the organization to say, okay, let's continue with him long term. Peyton didn't want Tua. Could you blame him? Most people don't want quarterbacks with limitations. But if anybody could have made it work, I believe Sean Payton could have. I believe Sean Payton could have. TD hating hard. Money Mitch, you hating hard. How about that? You see how that works? I ain't got to hate on Mike McDaniel. I mean, the facts are the facts. They offered a man 5 years, $100 million. The facts are the facts. I mean, let's not sit here and come on, man. Let's not act brand new. See, this is what some of y'all sound like. It's like having an NBA team and you say, LeBron, I want to give you a 10-year, $1 billion contract. And for whatever reason, LeBron retires and said, no, I'm going to sit this one out because of circumstances. And then you go get Mo Williams. Then you go sign Mo Williams for a 5-year, $50 million contract. If LeBron James was available the very next year, regardless of how Mo Williams played, do you think that they're gonna continue with Mo Williams? If LeBron became available and said, you know what, I want to coach you, I want to play again, what, you think they're gonna stick with Mo Williams? You think they're gonna stick with Mo Williams? Or they gonna be like, oh, for real? Okay, thanks, Mo. We appreciate your services. They gonna get LeBron. It's ridiculous, man. LeBron is overrated. He's soft. Man, I'm using an analogy. Y'all get the point. You get the point. Mo Williams was nice on the Cavs, though. Yeah, he was. But answer the question. Mo Williams puts up 20 points a game, and the next year, LeBron say, hey, I want to come back. What they going to do? They going to move forward with Mo Williams, or they going to bring LeBron back? Which one they going to do? We ain't got to complicate things. Just keep it 100. Keep it 100. That's the point. People want to ignore the obvious. And what people need to understand is Stephen Ross ain't riding for no Mike McDaniel or Tua. Y'all remember when they hired Mike McDaniel, supposedly the front office was split. That's why they took so long. They were split. Stating the obvious, TD, Sean Payton is one of the best coaches of his day. It didn't work out. Move on. What didn't work out? I don't get what you talk about. Move on. What didn't work out? Y'all act like, see, the problem with some of y'all act like if something didn't work this year, it's off the table next year. Where do y'all get that math from? Where do y'all occasions? Where do your equations come from? It didn't work out last year, and the man ain't coach at all. He just said, hey, why am I going to? And this is why he did it. I don't need to coach right now. I'm getting paid from the Saints anyway. I'll come back next year when I'm no longer getting paid. So it didn't work out last year. So all of a sudden, it's not on the table anymore the year after. Anyway, Sean Payton ain't it. Maybe he's not. I'm just, see, first of all, I'm not even, me personally, first of all, I'm not even a big Sean Payton fan. I'm not a Sean Payton guy. I think it would be a terrible investment, but it ain't the cap. The cap's not affected. The cap's not affected. So now if the cap was affected, I'll be like, man, don't get no Sean Payton. That's too much money. Then who cares about him? But that's just straight up Stephen Ross's profits, his money. So I'm not even a Sean Payton guy. I don't even want Sean Payton. Be quite honest with you. I actually would. Hey, let's see what Mike McDaniel can develop into a great NFL coach. I'm actually an ally of Mike McDaniel in this area. But on this channel, I'm not going to sit here and ignore a obvious and a potential. They offered the man a 5-year, $100 million deal. The greatest contract a coach has ever been offered in the NFL. If that guy said he wanted to go ahead and take that opportunity next year, they're going to fire Mike McDaniel in a heartbeat. Unless Mike McDaniel go win a Super Bowl this year or at least appear in the AFC Championship game, maybe that'll give us some reason to not worry about it. But y'all forgetting what Ross is trying to do. Ross is trying to do this while the team is still in his name. He wants a Super Bowl. That's why he's been so desperate in his actions. He wants to come into Miami and actually accomplish something. Y'all keep forgetting the Stephen Ross factor. Not Mike McDaniel, Stephen Ross. Y'all keep forgetting this man wants it now. Peyton, 222, 162 win-loss record with the Super Bowl. Y'all capping. Now, I mean, I understand his resume. It's beautiful. I mean, if he's here, hey, let's go. We got a winner. TD, if all current head coaches became available, who would you take? Current head coaches became available, who would I take? Unfortunately, that's an easy one for me. Y'all ain't gonna like it. That's the easy one. I want y'all to put who y'all would take in the comment section before I tell y'all who I would take. It's easy for me. It ain't even no question for me. I know who I'm taking. Y'all ain't gonna like it, but I know who I'm taking. I know who I'm taking. Bill Cowher, Sean McVay. Listen, I'm taking Bill Belichick. I ain't care less what y'all talk about. I'm taking Bill Belichick. It ain't even close. I'm taking Bill Belichick. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you want the best case scenario, you take Bill Belichick. I mean, oh my gosh. I'm taking Bill Belichick. I mean, listen, that ain't even debatable for me. It ain't even debatable for me. But this team, I'm taking Bill Belichick. And that'll be with Tua. With Tua, I'm taking Bill Belichick. With Tua. With Tua. I'll be fine with Tua if we got Bill Belichick. Yep. There's multiple reasons why. First of all, Tua ain't getting over $30 million. He gonna put him right where he believe he need to be. You a $25 million guy after your rookie deal. Let's go win some Super Bowls. Otherwise, bye. Bye. And we going to win some Super Bowls. Because he going to make sure he build his team the right way. We going to be all right. How many respectable coaches actually want to work for Ross and Greer unless they overpay? That's the beauty. He's going to overpay. He doesn't care. Ross is going to overpay. Doesn't even matter. He's going to overpay. All right? Bring Nick Saban back then. Man, listen, the day we bring Nick Saban back to Miami, I really have to rethink my fanhood. Don't forget, Nick Saban screwed us. Nick Saban is a bum when it comes to the Miami Dolphins. And I don't like Nick Saban as a coach anyway. I don't even respect him as a college coach. I don't even respect him as a college coach. I don't care now about your resume when every player you got on the roster is a top 5 in the country. You're supposed to have a resume like that. You're supposed to have a resume like that. I don't want to hear it. Everybody, oh, Nick Saban's such a great coach. Soon as he got to the NFL, what he looked like? Trash. Straight trash. Oh, you tripping. Nick Saban's amazing. Why? Because he got a top 5 player at every position he get to coach every year? I don't want to hear it. You go coach a team full of 3-star players in the season ranked in the top 10. Then I'll respect you. Go coach a team full of 3 stars. Do that for me. Go coach a team full of 3 stars. And maybe I'll give you a few 4 stars. But you go coach a 3-star team and show me that you can be ranked in the top 10. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. That's the only issue with the college football game as it is. It's simply a matter of recruiting. That's the real game in college football. Recruiting. Recruiting is the game. So yes, he's an amazing recruiter. He's one of the best recruiters there is. But hey, how hard is that? When you got a powerhouse and you can guarantee the kid in their living room, you can go sit in the kid living room and simply look him in the eyes and say, at the end of the day, we all know what we want, and that's for you to go to the NFL. Who do you think you got the best chance of doing that with? You come to Alabama, you're going to be looked at every week. You're going to get to display your talents on every major platform, and it's a done deal. And it's an honor for a kid to be like, Alabama wants me anyway. Even the recruiting game ain't as hard. And the funny thing that people don't talk about, sometimes Nick Saban will get multiple 4 and 5 stars at the same position. Then they all get to camp like, oh, man. That's when they start hitting the transfer portal. Whoever start falling behind the other. So he always get the cream of the crop. Anyway, I don't even know why I'm talking about that bum. If you're a real Dolphin fan, you know what he did to the Miami Dolphins. That's all that matters. I don't like Nick Saban. Bum. Straight bum. Dolphins should get Ken Dorsey. Skyler looked good, too good. Anyway, yeah, man, Skyler looked really good. He looked amazing. During the game, they know what they got in Skyler. They know what they got. All right, TD, the obvious. Hold on. Why are we panicking over 3-3 loss after 6 weeks? Too much season, too many variables, injuries, games to consider. The season a wash right now, positive or negative. No. I agree. People that's panicking are tripping. There's no need to panic. But Donald, I understand why they're tripping. They're tripping because we've seen this story over and over and over and over. Every year, we get that same message that you just put. Why is everybody panicking? And what's the end result? Miss the playoffs. Bro, it's only week 2. Bro, it's only week 3. Y'all overreacting. It's only week 4. It's only week 5. It's only week 6. We've seen this over and over. That's why people have that panic mentality. Because they're tired of it, especially when you bring this time. Do you know how big of a failure it will be if we miss the playoffs this year? When you done brought in Tyreek, Armstead, Connor, and these guys? Do you know how huge of a failure it will be? Like when you think the Dolphins can't make you any lower, like we've set ourselves up that if we don't make the playoffs, this is the lowest low that we've been in 20-some years. This is lower than the 1-15 season because at least we didn't expect nothing then. So I understand perfectly clear why people feel the way they feel because we shouldn't have lost those games. Maybe one of them, but we shouldn't have lost. We shouldn't have been the Vikings game. We shouldn't have lost, regardless of the quarterback. And you got good quarterback play. We shouldn't have lost. Hold on, let me get this too. Give me a second, real quick. Uh, 1 moment, y'all. I need to see something real quick. According to the FDA, one large maker, Teva, is dealing with ongoing manufacturing delays. The company first. Where is? Okay, there it is. All right. Anyway, but yeah, man. Regardless of the quarterback play, we shouldn't have lost that game. We shouldn't have lost that game. And you know, I got to be honest, man. People like, I got to be honest. I'm getting sick of the hypocrisy in our community too, especially at the quarterback position. And that's why I realize why people don't want Tua in Miami. Some people can't wait for him to go. And it ain't even his freaking fault. It ain't even his fault. People want him to go because of the hypocrisy of his cultish fans. Let me tell y'all what I mean by that. Teddy Bridgewater actually played a good game. Technically, Teddy Bridgewater had over 300 yards in 3 quarters, 2 touchdowns and 1 interceptions. Do you know how many games Tua has had where he's thrown for less than 200 yards and had 2 touchdowns and 1 interception, and people are sitting there going crazy about how great he played? You know how many games that Tua put up less production? Because I don't even count that Waddle interception on Teddy. That's not on Teddy. Teddy had 300 and something yards in 2 games. I mean, in 3 quarters. The man was well on his way, 400-yard day easily. Probably 3 touchdowns in a pick. But people are taking a poop over on Teddy's performance. 68% completion percentage. He had a good game. Skyler was having a good game before he went out. Any quarterback on our roster, if they played that full game, would have had a 400-plus yard day. But they only want to count those games good if it's Tua the one behind center. They are intentionally trying to down other quarterbacks or make the game, he looked like a bum too. They try to do that to the other quarterbacks just to lift somebody else up. Let's get something straight. If you got to do that to lift somebody else up, then that person ain't it. If you got to down other people to lift somebody up, then the person you're trying to lift up ain't it then. Because you got to overcompensate just to prove a point. Both of them guys played well. They put up 400 over both of them together in that game, put over 400 yards passing on the field. 415 or something like that. And it would have been, it could have been 5 if the penalties weren't there. It probably would have been 500 if the penalties weren't there. You do realize Skyler's had almost 90 yards, and they took about 60 yards away from him due to penalties. Those guys played good football. They were escaping the pressure. They were making plays off script. They made great plays on offense. Think about it. The penalties on Skyler, all y'all know we were on our way to getting 7 points on that drive with Skyler. He was ripping them apart. All y'all know we were on our way to getting 7. All y'all know we were on our way to getting 7 when Waddle fumbled the ball. We start having some mojo when Waddle dropped the ball and they got intercepted. Our O-line lost us that game. But, like, the O-line wasn't the only reason we lost. We could have won with the O-line playing that bad. We still could have won. We still could have won. You still got the penalties. You still got the fumble by Waddle. You still got the interception that Waddle dropped. Those 2 drives, we were cooking. Even with the O-line playing trash, we should have won that game. And Waddle wasn't the only reason, but man, he had 2 costly bad moments. Fake punt. That trash. The Dolphins defense broke a record that nobody did this season. We forced the Vikings to punt 10 times. No other team has done that this year. So please miss me with the Tua, Skyler, and Teddy. If Tua played, we would have won. Y'all, if Tua played, y'all would be out here just yelling at the top of y'all lungs what we all saying right now. It's not Tua's fault Waddle dropped the ball and it got picked. That ain't his fault. It's not Tua's fault that Waddle fumbled. Tua was on his way to a touchdown. Tua was ripping him apart. In only 3 quarters, Tua put up over 300 yards. He would have had over 400, man. This is what we would have been hearing. Tua was shredding them apart, and we kept getting these dumb penalties. Did you see those throws Tua was making? Oh my gosh, they were like elite level throws. And all the penalties brought him back. Because you can't sit here and tell me almost every one of them throws from Skyler wasn't elite. Big time throws, on the run, in stride, most of them. We'd have been hearing all this same praise and dogging the rest of the team. But now it's a case of Nah, it's the rest of the team didn't play well, but if Tua played, we would have won that game though. Y'all, that's why people don't want Tua here. And it ain't even his fault. But that's why they can't wait for his departure. They can't wait for the day that he leaves. And it ain't because of him, it's because of these people who over glorify him and knock everybody else on this roster down. People tell me now, I can't wait for them to get rid of him, even if it's 2 years from now, because these people are unbearable. They can't call it how they see it, and you'll appreciate him a lot more. They blame everybody around him for everything and diminish other people to make him look better. I can't wait for the Dolphins to move on from him. That's all I've been hearing lately. And you know what? They got a point. They got a freaking point. It's ridiculous. And yesterday was prime proof. Teddy just ain't it. Man, first of all, Tua might have not even made it through that game. Second off, if Tua would have did exactly what Teddy would have did, we would have been praising the heck out of it. Because after that first drive, Teddy was making plays. Teddy was playing football. Teddy was hitting his guys. Teddy was moving us down the field. But since it wasn't Tua, we wanted to find some way to be like, yeah, but it's Teddy. You know, Tua would have got more. Nah, Tua would have been checking down more. That's what you would have got. Tua would have been taking more shots deep in a cover 2 defense. That's the only thing I was mad about with Skyler when he took that shot deep in cover 2. Because Tua did that crap versus the Bengals 3 times. And one of them got picked. One of them got picked. See, this is what I'm talking about. Stop, bro. Teddy was trash till the 4th. Teddy ain't put up 300 yards in the 4th quarter. What are you talking about? Some of y'all ridiculous, man. This man ain't put up 300 yards in the 4th quarter. Teddy played a good game. And hold on. So we're going to sit here and say only in the 4th quarter Teddy is balling. Oh, so Tua can do it versus Baltimore, but Teddy can't. Oh, I get it now. Only Tua can ball out in the 4th quarter and it's acceptable. Only Tua can. You see what I'm talking about, y'all? You see what I'm talking about? This is why people can't wait for them to move on from Tua. It done got so bad, people like, man, I don't wish injury upon nobody, but at the end of the day, if he get hurt, it is what it is. I'm hearing it all. Do y'all why? NGL, if Miami doesn't trade for a lineman and a corner, call it a season. So Tua can have a only phenomenal 4th quarter, but Teddy can't. I get it now. I get it. And they arguing with me to make their point by saying Teddy only did it in the 4th quarter. Wow. But let somebody say Tua only had a good 4th quarter. Oh, you hating. Oh, you hating. You can't make this stuff up, man. Did you have people dropping balls when Tua played them first 3 games like this? Did you have 10 and 13 penalties when Tua was playing? Was the O-line playing like trash when Tua was playing? But all 3 of those factors have nothing to do with Tua. But y'all want to make it seem like it does. Get out of here, man. This is stuff I be talking about. TD, what's the word with Byron? Missing in action. Byron will be back in 3 weeks. I think he'll be back right before IR when he has to go on IR long term. Because if he out for the whole season, Byron got his money and said, in. It is what it is. I think we might still have another 3 weeks with Byron. But yeah, the hypocrisy is real, man. And these people don't even recognize their hypocrisy. They just live in it and keep spewing these lies. He only did something in the fourth quarter. Wow. Are you kidding me? But we're not allowed to say that about Tua. We're not allowed to say that about Tua. Amazing to me. Oh boy. Yeah, give me a second. Nor we trust. um TD, I may have missed it, but what was your take on Skylar's play? Listen, Skylar absolutely played great. And you know what? I like it too. He did exactly what he needed to do and he got out of the game. And at the end of the day, he showed that he could play football in this league and he got out of the game. It's that simple. It's that simple. So I like what he did. Give me one moment. I'm trying to pull this up. I gotta move this here. Mm. All right. TD, trade deadline looming. Do the Fins make a move? Who you gonna trade? I've been telling y'all, like I keep telling y'all, when y'all gonna listen to me? Who you gonna trade? You know what? Let's address it. Let's address it. Let's address it, but listen up when we're addressing in this. Let's make common sense of this, right? Does Miami draft the QB this year like Tyler Van Dyke? No. But let's talk. No, they don't. Okay. But let's address it. Who do you trade? Who do you trade? Please tell me who are you trading on this team? Or if it ain't a player, what, like somebody said Jerome Baker. Who wants Jerome Baker? Who's going to pick up a $12 million overpaid linebacker? Tell me, is there a team in the NFL that wants to pick up Jerome Baker's contract? Let's start with Jerome Baker. I'm going to go one at a time. I'm going to listen to all y'all stuff. He's a $10 million cap hit this year. He's a $12 million cap hit next year with the $6.5 million dead cap. Who wants to pick that up? Who else you going to trade? Or what draft pick are you going to use to go get somebody? Let me know now. Let me know now. And I'm gonna go ahead and get ahead of it. I'm gonna debunk anything you say. Cedric Wilson? Who wants Cedric Wilson? I didn't even know he was still on the team. And how much are you paying Cedric Wilson to have zero production? Hold on. How much you paying Cedric Wilson to have zero production? Oh, $6 million. And then next year, $8 million with a dead cap of $7 million. So you mean to tell me we on the hook for Cedric Wilson for 2 years? Who wants Cedric Wilson? Zero productivity and paying him 6, and then next year got to pay him $8 million with a $7 million dead cap. So you're definitely gonna pay him, or you just lose out on all your money. Next, anybody else? Put it in the comment section. What player on this team are you talking about trading, or what draft pick are you talking about giving up to get somebody? So I could debunk it. Everybody, we need to trade for this. We need to trade for that. Trade Teddy, TD. Why? You can't rely on Tua to be on the field the whole season. You can't rely on Tua to be on the field. Now, Teddy showed why you need a backup more than ever now. Ogba, you mean the guy who disappeared has been non-existent for 6 games after getting his money? Who wants to deal with that contract for a guy who ain't producing nothing? What Emmanuel Ogba getting? You see, the problem with y'all trades, 11 million. And next year you got to give Ogba 17 million with a $21 million dead cap. So you got to pay him. So the problem with y'all trade proposals is that y'all keep trying to trade players that's absolutely doing nothing. So and are overpaid based off of their productivity so far this year. So who in the heck wants that? TD, would you blame McDaniel for the lack of production from Wilson, considering he was productive with the Cowboys? Cedric Wilson wasn't productive with the Cowboys. This is my point. I told y'all this already. I've been told y'all this. Where did y'all get this notion? Because y'all sat here and listened to these other channels tell y'all all off season, Cedric Wilson's going to be our number 3 and he's better than Devontae Parker. And I'm sitting there like, in what world? What are y'all talking about? What are y'all talking about? Where did y'all get this information from? Where did this stuff ever come from? This is all I was hearing. And I was just sitting there the whole time shaking my head like, what are people talking about? See, and that's why I say this, that Dolphin stuff. This that Miami Dolphin fan stuff. Anything we get, we think is the best thing in the world. We think is the best thing in the world. See, a guy like Cedric Wilson, you expect in a 16-game season, at least give me 6 games where you had a breakout game of 80 yards or more. Let me go through his numbers with the Cowboys. Game 1, 24 yards. Game 2, 20 yards. Game 3, 17 yards. Game 4, 30 yards. Game 5, 35 yards. Game 6, 42 yards. Game 7, 84 yards because he caught one deep ball for about 65 yards. One big catch. Whoa, in what week is that? Week 8. Finally. No, week 7. Then back to normal, 28 yards. Then he didn't play a game. Then 36 yards. Then, whoa, he finally have a breakout game of 104. Then he didn't play the next game. Then 18 yards. Then he didn't play the next game. Then 10 yards. Then 35 yards. And then the last game of the season when the Philadelphia Eagles sat all their starters because they already made the playoffs, 119 yards. So I'm sorry. He did absolutely nothing in Dallas, but had a 119 game to end the season against third-string players. And one actual, I'll say it's a good game, versus the Rams for 104 yards. Everything else, he right where he is now. 10 to 30 yards. And we out here sitting here talking like he a guy who gonna give you 40, 50, 60, 70 yards in any given week. This man always been this. And another thing, a lot of these stats came from the fourth quarter when they put him in. And the defense gave him a one-on-one because they weren't worried about it, and he made a quick comeback route or something, just like we do. But I had to hear all offseason these channels tell all of us, Cedric Wilson is a great receiver, man. His speed and what he can do, he's going to be better than DDP. Get out of here. You think Miami can get a first for Wilkins? See, now that's a trade potential. We'll talk about that. But then that makes us thin on the D-line, especially with depth. So Christian Wilkins is a viable option of a trade. That's one person you could trade. But you think they finna do that? You think they're going to trade Christian Wilkins? They should. I keep telling y'all they should. They already didn't listen to me about X. Don't worry, y'all going to feel this one the hard way. X going to bleed us the hard way. Y'all going to feel it over the next 2 years. Hoping Tua was going to be healthy cost y'all Deshaun Watson? Huh? Hoping Tua was going to be healthy cost y'all Deshaun? Nah, Deshaun Watson cost us Deshaun Watson. Tua had no control over that situation no matter what he did. Deshaun Watson cost us Deshaun Watson. His behavior cost us his ability to be in Miami. If he didn't have a scandal, he would have been in Miami 2 years ago. So that ain't on nobody but Deshaun Watson. His behavior is why he ain't in Miami. All right. But anyway, Christian Wilkins is one option. But again, now you have no depth on the interior D-line. So what happens if Zyler goes out? You're screwed. That's the problem with this team. It's one of the issues. So who else? Who else y'all want to trade? Or what draft pick you want to get up to go give somebody? They need to go get this corner. Okay, what you giving up? What you giving up to go get him? Jalen Phillips? Or you think they're going to give up on the first round pick? They're going to give up on the first round pick, and on top of it, who wants him? What value can you even get for him? Because you'll be taking the L. You're giving up a number 16 overall pick or 18, whatever he was, for what? What you going to get back? It ain't going to be the equivalence. Come on, man. We got to make this make sense. Everybody want to throw out their scenarios of what we need to do. I'm all here for it. But how are we going to do it? I could tell you this. Chris Greer don't want to touch that little bit of money he got left over that he's saving from this year. Chris Greer don't want to touch that money. He know he's still trying to figure out how he going to finagle next year. Especially with some of these players regressing. Give me a second. I'm trying to see what we at today. How much money are we at? Are we still at 16 or are we lower? Because I know we keep having to sign people due to injuries, so we probably bleed money in that area too. We probably don't even have a 16 no more. It's probably just 10. Give me a second. I'll tell y'all. All right, here we go. All right, 2022. All right, cap space. I'm looking it up now, y'all. Dead cap total, injured reserve. Dead. Man, we got $7.5 million cap space right now. 7.5, y'all. We got $7.5 million. Hold on. Let me and y'all give me a second. Let me make sure. Let me go by team. I gotta make sure, man, because that's a lot less than I thought. Yeah, confirmed. It's confirmed. 7.58. 7,583,000. Dang, we went from 20, and I don't know what we did in that time frame, but I guess it's all the hurt players because you got to sign new people when they get hurt. And then you got guys like Skylar Thompson who had to come off the practice squad, so you had to actually sign him to an actual team deal for game day. Y'all recognize that. Craycraft, we actually had to sign him because you're on practice squad. You got a practice squad contract, but when they activate you, you got to actually get a contract. A lot in this, and all these injuries are literally bleeding our cap because we got to sign these guys that we move up. Wow, wow, wow. Wow. Let me see next year. What kind of money we looking at next year? Psh. As of right now, next year we got $12 million. As of right now, we got 12 million next year. And that 12 million, I'm sure they're going to figure out a way to get some more money. They'll probably get it up to 20, and then they'll try to move that 7 over. But we're still gonna, like, right now we got to sign some people, right? Nick Needham out and all of that. So that 7's gonna come down. But when they done making moves and finagling stuff, I'm sure they'll figure out a way to get about 25 to 30 million next year. But you can't use it all. Let's say we get up to 30 million. Your first round pick alone is probably going to be about 6 million. That'll leave you with 24. All your draft picks going to be about 10 million. That's going to leave you with 10 million. I mean, 20 million. That's with no Gesicki. So you know he probably gone. That's Christian Wilkins. You got to give him a deal. Nick Needham getting hurt is interesting because you tendered him. Are you going to give him a contract next year, or are you just going to move on from that? There's so much that they got to think about. So much. Now it's almost inevitable. You got to get rid of probably Byron Jones. You probably have to at this point. Let me see here. I need to look at Byron Jones' contract. I know he restructured. Which crazy. He restructured and helped the team, actually. All right, 2022, he's only making 5.9 million this year. He helped the team. See? Even next year. Next year, Byron is a $19 million cap hit. But he's a $15 million dead cap hit. He's 15 million dead cap. Even if you move on from Byron next year, you take that 15 and you divide it. Oh, look at that. They did voidable years. They actually restructured his deal and did an extension. Byron Jones initially had a 5-year, $82 million contract, but now he has an 8-year contract with the Dolphins. Listen, we already started the voidable stuff. I told y'all you better start worrying about voidables next year and the year after. We actually already started the voidables. Byron Jones will be hitting our cap until 2027. They can move on from him in 2023, and he's going to be hitting our cap until 2027. 2027. They already starting the voidable stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, 7 years. Sorry, 7. They gave him 2 voidable years. Not 8, excuse me, y'all. But now it's a 7-year deal. But he has no base salary in 2025 and 2026. But in 2025, look at this, y'all. In 2025, he's still going to count against the cap 5.3 million. In 2026, same thing. In 2024, over 5 million. It depends on when they cut him, honestly. It depends on when they cut him. They actually gave him more guaranteed money. They gave him 10. 11, 12, 13. They gave him $13 million restructure bonus just for him to restructure and help us out. They gave him an extra $13 million just because he restructured as a bonus. Byron got paid. I don't blame him. I'm gonna sit right there on the side. I know y'all getting rid of me next year. I'm gonna sit right there on the side, get 100% healthy for my next team and my last contract in this league. I'm gonna go somewhere else, sign me a little 2-year, $25 million contract, and I'm gonna get 100% healthy for my next team. If you don't see Byron Jones in the next 3 weeks, because he only got 3 weeks to come back, he got like 20 days. After that, you go officially on IR and you out for the season. He only got 20 more days, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's how the rules work. If you don't see him, now you got a Will Fuller situation. But Byron Jones got paid for it. Big time paid. That restructure gonna hit us for the next 4 years. 1, 2, 3, 4. It is what it is, though. This is how you now. The next restructure coming up will be Tyreek Hill. They're gonna be giving him voidable years just to make cap space. But what this means, y'all, see, this is what y'all need to think about. What this means is that in 2025 and 2026, as all these voidable contracts start to stack up, we're gonna be in trouble. We're gonna be in trouble. In 2025 and 2026, when all these voidable contracts are sitting there on our books, and we wondering why we ain't got no money, and that's right when Tua is supposed to be, his money's supposed to kick in if he get a new deal. That's why we're in a window now. That's why we're in a window now. Whew. Jason Sanders, yeah, I need to look at his contract because from my understanding, yeah, I'm starting to see now Jason Sanders may not be a Dolphin next year. He signed a 5-year, $22 million contract. He only has $7.5 million guaranteed. They'll get out of it next year. He's been tripping. Unless he just turn it around and have some phenomenal rest of the season and he kicks some big time game winners, taking us into the playoffs and all, he in trouble. They'll move off of that. So we'll figure out ways to get some cap space next year. But this is what I try to tell y'all about our cap space. They can get rid of Byron Jones, Jason Sanders. It's a plethora of guys they could move on from. If the Dolphins want it, they could end up with 50 to 60 million next year. And people will be like, yeah, that's good. The issue we have with that is this. Who you replacing these players with? Because some of them, some of your best players. So you're actually going to downgrade? Whether you like Byron or not, it's hard to find a cornerback as good or better than him. Whether you like him or not, it's still hard to find a corner as good or better than him. You don't want to pay Christian Wilkins 16 plus 20 million a year? It's hard to find a guy as good or better than him. So the problem is when we replace these guys, are we downgrading? And that ain't good. So we getting weaker? That's not good. It's not good. This is why I wanted to take the easier approach. Instead of trying to manage the whole team with all these salaries, last year, go get your franchise quarterback right now and take advantage of this 2-year window, and let's try to get a ring. Let's try to hoist that trophy. That's why I like that approach. I think we have to start replacing through the draft. We ain't got all the draft capital that we used to have. We were at a huge advantage until we had a first round pick taken from us. And we were at a huge advantage the last few years until half of our draft picks ain't nothing. And the problem that we deal with, everybody talk about replacing through the draft. Let me be clear with y'all. This notion that you replace players through the draft, I agree with, but it's only a short-term solution. Where you really win is if you replace players in the draft in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, 6th, or 7th round. The 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round, not the 1st round. You don't rebuild in the draft through the 1st round. That's not how it works. The reason why I say that, you need great play from guys that are making 1, 2, 3, 4 million a year. What you get in the draft is just like a free agent. And you hope that they turn out. And then when it's time for them to get their money, they actually hurt the team. Former 1st round pick. Big contract. You do understand 1st round picks get bigger money than 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round picks. Like let me give you an example. If I was a 1st round pick quarterback and it's time for my 2nd deal, I might get a 50-year, 5-year, $250 million contract. But if I was a 4th round pick, it might be 5 years, $200 million. Draft capital goes from your rookie contract and that next one. After that, it's all fair game. But draft capital matters. Even your value of a trade asset, where were you drafted, it weighs in. Ogbah can go with Phillips emerging. Jason Sanders got paid and has been shaky in big moments. Well, first of all, Phillips ain't emerging. Let's get that straight now. He's just another player out there occasionally getting close, but he ain't emerging. He ain't what we want him to be. Not yet. I believe in him, actually, but not yet. Second off, we can talk about Ogbah can go all we want. Ogbah got guaranteed money next year. Ogbah ain't going nowhere. And if Ogbah goes somewhere, you got 3 more years of dead cap for him. You see, it's too much. Jason Sanders got paid and he's shaking. Jason Sanders can go. He ain't got no dead cap. But y'all see, we throw these names out there, but these guys under contract. These guys are under contract. They under contract. Ain't nothing you can do about that. Let me take a look at it again. Emmanuel Ogbah next year is a $17 million cap hit and $21 million dead cap. 21 million dead cap. His dead cap is more than his cap hit next year. So they gonna let him go for free? That's not happening. That's not gonna happen. So that's the problem. That's part of the problem. These guys got their deals. What about Mike G? He's franchise. He's not even counting against our cap next year. That little bit of money we got, Mike Gesicki ain't hurting that. He's not even considered on the roster next year in our cap space. So if he walks, that ain't bringing our cap up because he's not even on the books next year. He was franchise tagged. He gets pressures. He bats balls down. Like I said, I don't care what Ogbah doing. He ain't doing $17 million worth on the field. You can take it however you want. Ogba is not on the field right now putting up $17 million production. He ain't putting up $10 million production. And I think a lot of these guys aren't putting up production based off of our scheme. They need Byron back, X on the boundary. Then we could play the football that we know, which I've been telling y'all. All of these guys' numbers are scheme specific. Without that specific scheme, none of them eating. Tell me who eating on defense right now. Tell me who eating on defense right now. Melvin Ingram. Melvin Ingram. Christian Wilkins ain't been eating. Get out of here. Christian Wilkins ain't been eating. Sorry. Try again. Try again. Last year he was eating. He ain't eating this year. X. Why you put X in the comment section? Don't put X in the comment section. X better turn it on like you do every year at the end of the season. Because right now he definitely ain't eating. X definitely ain't eating. X is rated a 50.8 PFF on the season. He 87th out of 107 at the cornerback position. Miss me with that. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. Noah. Noah the GOAT. How about that? Holland has been absent. They ain't using them the same. They using them in a more traditional role, and I've always had a concern. But Holland will be all right. A lot of these guys doing things that doesn't put them in the best position to make plays right now. But Holland's doing just fine. Holland's doing just fine. And remember, Christian Wilkins is doing good, but he ain't doing what he was doing last year. Remember, Christian Wilkins was ranked 6th in the NFL at his position last year. He was ranked 6th in the NFL. I think this year he's ranked like 12th or something like that. And it still ain't bad. It still ain't bad, but he ain't doing what he was doing last year. Let me see. Zyler, too. Zyler last year was ranked number 3 at his position. Right now, he 11th. Well, excuse me, Christian Wilkins actually 10th now. So he must have did a little bit more than I thought in this last Vikings game because his grade went up. So he's 10th now. So he climbed 2 spaces based off of what I remember him as. And Zach Zyler is 11th. So those 2 guys, I mean, they're still playing good, solid football, but they've digressed since last season. Definitely have. Somebody said River Craycraft. Let me see. River Craycraft. Oh, where are my wide receivers at? He's 68. He's doing good. The quarterback on PFF is interesting. Tua is a 79.7. Teddy is a 70.8. But Skyler is a 71.4. That is interesting to me. That means they must have felt like Skyler had such an amazing day yesterday in that little bit of time. Because last week, Skyler was like a 50 in that terrible performance. So for him to go up to 71.4 on the season means that he must have been in the 90s yesterday based off of how they graded him when he was on the field. That's the one thing I need to figure out with PFF, how to get back to a single game grade. I still have to figure that out. Single game grade. I'll figure it out at some point. But yeah, they must have thought Skyler had like a elite performance yesterday to move from 50. And let me tell you, no, they must have thought he had a Hall of Fame day yesterday. Let me tell you why. Because that 50 was 4 quarters. And all he did is added 1 quarter on that, and he went up to 71. And rightfully so. We all saw what we saw with our own eyes. We saw what we saw. He absolutely played phenomenal in that first quarter. I mean, he couldn't miss. He was making every throw. His grade was 89.2, TD. So, hey, how do I find that? How do I find that? Oh, I got to get out of here, man. It's 8 o'clock. I got to go. I gotta for 10 minutes. I need to go say prayers with the babies and stuff. And then we got Monday Night Football. So y'all come back through for Monday Night Football. I'm gonna be calling that game. And we could talk a little bit more about some of this stuff. I'm gonna do a stream tomorrow to continue where we left off on this stuff. But yeah, if anybody's an expert on PFF, let me know, because I need to be able to find individual game grades, because I still haven't figured out how to do it. I know it's in here because they come up with it, but I'd be having a hard time finding the individual games. Not sure if you saw Needham out for season, with an Achilles injury, and Byron will not be back next week. Well, I know Byron will be back next week. WTD, a family man. Yeah, but let me get out of here before I'm late to the game, all right? So I'll see y'all later. Peace. In about 15 minutes, 14, 12 minutes, I'll have the game stream loaded. Wait, hold on. What's that? Yeah, I got it. All right, so I'll see y'all in a few minutes. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Peace. Fins up no matter what.